So, you're sitting on your couch dreaming of driving the most expensive and luxurious cars in the world. But reality hits you hard. You realize you don't even have enough money for Mr. Bean's car, let alone a Bugatti. But fear not, because the solution to your problem is just a headset away. Introducing the PSVR 2 with Gran Turismo 7. Strap on the headset and transport yourself to the driver's seat of some of the most exclusive cars on the planet. Experience a rush of acceleration as you hit the gas pedal and the roar of your engine as you push the limits of speed. With the PSVR 2, you'll feel like you're actually driving these multi-million-dollar cars without having to break the bank. Well, kind of, because the device is over $500. But today, we are going to go through what it really is like with the PSVR 2 and GT7, and if the PSVR 2 is worth it for this game alone. Now, this isn't a PSVR 2 review, nor is it a GT7 review. This is my experience with the combination of both and a wheel. My PSVR 2 review will be coming at a later date. So, I've tried a lot of different VR headsets for racing games, from the original PSVR, the Oculus Rift and the Rift S, even the Reverb G2 and now the Quest 2. But there is always one major issue that I faced in all of them, and that is I always ended up getting motion sickness. Now, it could be the games that were causing it, as I tried Project Cars 2 and 3 on the PC, as well as Dirt Rally on the PSVR, whereas on the PSVR 2, it is Gran Turismo 7. Or maybe it was due to the headsets themselves. But all I know is the combination of Gran Turismo 7 and the PSVR 2 is amazing. I got zero motion sickness even after spinning out, after the cheating AI smacked me from behind. The graphics looked incredible, it actually looked real. The only thing that didn't look real was the audience, but I think that's just the game not wanting to waste resource on them. However, something to know is that the graphics aren't as good as you would get on flat screen. It's more like playing a game in ultra settings versus low to medium settings. But when you're in VR, you honestly don't notice. That being said, there were some things that were a lot sharper than other things. For example, the logo on the wheel for the Aston Martin wasn't as sharp, but the rest of the car was really sharp. It was kind of odd. Though this doesn't impact the game in any way. So, how has this been accomplished? Well, this is actually the PSVR 2, and it's amazing eye tracking. As you can see on screen, it has foveated rendering. So what it does is the thing you aren't looking at is rendered in much lower quality. But because of the eye tracking is so fast, you never even notice that this rendering is even happening. It's only when I'm looking back at the recording and I'm like, oh, is that what it was doing? For comfort, I didn't think I would say this because I'm a big crybaby, but this is actually the most comfortable VR headset I have ever worn. I could literally sit there playing this game for hours in VR. Although that being said, as I mentioned, I am a crybaby, so my head did get a little itchy, so it was kind of annoying to try and scratch it, but that's not really the headset's fault. And no one can really do anything about that. Stupid itchy head. Now, to mention the earphones, I honestly forgot they were even in my ears. I couldn't believe it. Normally my ears start to hurt after a while with earphones, but here I honestly forgot I was even wearing them until I tried to scratch my ear and ended up pulling them out. Now, a cool feature, although a little gimmicky, are the head haptics. The reason I say they're a little gimmicky is because you won't really feel it much, if ever, because you need to actually have a head-on collision to get the rumble, which is obviously the opposite of what you're trying to do whilst racing. Getting hit on the side doesn't really count, so if you ever end up in a crash, you'll definitely be surprised when your head's vibrating. Now, I know the PSVR 2 is wired, but since I was sitting in my driving seat using a wheel, I didn't even notice it was even there. It's different from some other games, but for GT7, it's actually a non-issue. So, would I recommend the PSVR 2 for someone who just wants to play GT7? What I would say is, if you have a PS5 and a driving wheel, then the PSVR 2 will feel like a game changer. I was previously using a 120-inch projector screen, which felt really immersive, as it was massive. But this is still like night and day. Talking about day, when the sunlight hits your eye, you actually feel like it's real sunlight. I kept forgetting I was only in VR. Brains are stupid. But yeah, I already highly recommend it for anyone who is an avid GT7 fan. Although I am just a casual rubbish racer, and I loved it so much that I can't wait to play it some more. I just wish GT7 had test drives for all the cool cars. But you can sit in them in the GT showcase at least. The cars look beautiful, the interior looks amazing, the sound is riveting, but the car is stationary. So you feel like something's missing out, but I guess you can unlock that car for yourself and drive it there. Now there's one more thing, you can also go into something like an audience spectator mode, where you're watching the race from the sidelines. It's actually amazing, especially in VR. Now you may also ask, does VR make you a better racer? Unfortunately, because I'm rubbish, it's hard to tell, but I feel like I was driving much better. Although regardless, I was clearly having a lot more fun. So, if you're thinking about getting the PSVR 2 just for Gran Turismo 7, I would say you aren't going to regret it. Although make sure you have a wheel setup before. I tried it with the controllers and it was okay, but the wheel is where the real immersion lies. If you don't have a PS5 and play on the PS4, well then it's probably too high of a price to jump into just for one game. There are a lot of the PSVR 2 games that I will be covering that might sell you on the whole system, so keep an eye out. But let me know what your experience has been with the PSVR 2 and GT7 if you have it. Well, thanks for watching. Have a great day, stay safe and see you next time.